Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. So, looks to be 1 in, 1 out within the next 24 hours or so, maybe slightly longer in terms of the incoming, but maybe not. And then hopefully another one, maybe not too long after that incoming. But that's what we're going to talk about. So, it's technically my day off today, which I know normally means something happens, but instead I have been out in the sunshine and also watching Thor Love and Thunder, which was superb. Very funny film. Finished Stranger Things as well last night. So quite the 24 hours or so of entertainment. A bit of a double whammy, as it were. So let's start straight from the off. Let's not mess around. Clement Longley, obviously likely to be done for Spurs. Certainly by the time they fly off to Korea on Saturday evening. So that's good stuff. Those craving their transfers will be sated. Their appetite will be sated. Expect the medical within the next 24 hours. And yeah, all done and dusted, hopefully, by the time they fly out late on Saturday. Obviously, they need to get the visa and everything sorted for them to head off over to Korea. So the Longley move itself, it's an interesting one. It is, because certainly for me, the most interesting part of it is after some early discussions about a potential option to buy, it looks like there's not going to be one. Which, you know, you can draw all your own conclusions from that. The only thing I would say, and it's something that I've said previously, is that, you know, Tottenham's top two names on their defender wish list for the left-sided centre-back position were Josko Gvardiol and Alessandro Bastoni. Said that multiple times, so I won't go into the ins and outs of that. But what I would say is being just a mere season-long loan with no option to buy at the end kind of lends itself even more to the logic that probably Spurs will then look to sign one of those two players next summer. You'd think. Logic would suggest it kind of plays into that quite neatly, I guess is the way to put it. So, you know, Clement Longley, if you're not aware, 27-year-old France international. Spurs tried to sign him last summer, I understand, on loan, but he turned Tottenham down. Then obviously had a season at Barcelona, which wasn't the greatest in the world. Not what he would have wanted. Made 26 appearances, but his starts in the Liga were quite rare. Mainly, funnily enough, he kind of started the bulk of the Champions League games. Obviously, a difficult season for Barcelona. He had a tough time as well, but certainly a player that, like I say, Spurs tried to sign last summer anyway. A lot of experience, can also play in the centre of a back three or on the left, so he's very versatile. Spurs will pay not all of his wages, they'll pay a big portion of his wages, but not all of it, and also a loan fee. But, like I say, that having no option to buy is such a kind of an important thing, because let's say he had a terrific season and absolutely smashed it in the Premier League, then obviously his value compared to whatever it is right now shoots up. I should apologise, I've got a manky looking plaster on my thumb. It's not like I'm starting some Keith Lemon style, as he wears like a wrist, like he's got a broken wrist kind of thing. It's not that. It's just I cut my thumb and I don't want to get it infected before I go to Korea, because I don't want to have a really sore thumb in Korea. It's nothing more exciting than that. Sorry, massive distraction away from Longley there. So, yeah, his price would shoot right up, which then makes it more difficult for Spurs to buy him without competition as well. It's unusual for Tottenham. It's not something that I'm trying to think. There will definitely have been loans in the past where they will have had no option, but pretty much everyone recent I can think of. I guess Bale. Because Gareth Bale is probably the one where I don't... Oh, there might have been... I think with Bale, it's an interesting one. I think it was one of those where there was a verbal agreement that Spurs could take another loan, or certainly would be the front of the queue for another loan if there was one. But obviously all parties, it didn't happen. But yeah, so even that, I'd say that there's been something informal in place there. Obviously, we know Galini's just gone back. He had an option to buy as well. We know Kulusevski, Romero. Hopefully we'll have the Romero announcement soon. It's one of those where I wondered whether just naturally it would kind of become the permanent move. But I understand Spurs are hoping to do some kind of announcement or something. So keep an eye on that. It may be they completely change their mind and it naturally just goes in anyway. But interestingly, he was one of the players that came back quite early for pre-season training as well. Very eager to get involved, which was great. There was quite a few faces turned up a little bit earlier than we expected. And the club expected as well. I wouldn't say the club expected. They would have notified the club. It's not like I just sort of rocked up at the doors. Hey, we're back. I'm sure it wouldn't have been like that. But so Longley, back to him. He will certainly do a job in terms of being another body in that position. I said this before, but I'll say it again in case you weren't aware. Those I've spoken to about him say he's got excellent techniques, passing's very good, very educated, cultured left foot, whatever you want to say, the old cliches go. May lack a little bit of pace, but he does have good anticipation, experience, and yeah, like I say, versatile as well. So he's a good signing in terms of a very cheap loan with not even paying his full wages in what we are now looking at. Don't forget, I will say it multiple times, Conte building a squad, not a starting 11, with everyone competing for those places. In that sense, it's a good squad signing, definitely. And it would be a fifth player through the door. It's likely to be a fifth player through the door before they head off on a pre-season tour, which is, it was unheard of when we were at 1 or 2. I think 2019 had Tongi through the door. That was, but to have five is just incredible. So yeah, Longley. Yeah, I think it's a good addition for what it is. Like I say, I still believe there'll be a second centre-back come in because of Joe Rodon's expected departure, hopefully on loan. There'll be another one. It'd just be interesting to see kind of where they fit into that back three. Because the one good thing definitely about a loan is that it allows you to push money towards other areas. Obviously, Richarlison cost a lot, but you're not even talking about really denting that 150 million. And like I said in the past, a lot of these deals are done with instalments up front as well, kind of a first instalment, so you're not talking about the full whack going out anyway. So yeah, there's more to come. There is more to come. I think, within Spurs, they are still hopeful that Jed Spence will be coming through those doors. There's no real expectation that it'll be in time for Korea, or certainly before they travel to Korea. I don't know whether they'd fly him out there or not if it was done within the next... It would seem a bit... I don't know. I mean, they have done before. They have flown out players onto tours before. So it's not a definite no. But you'd think it would probably make more sense for him to get himself ready and be there for when they all arrive back on Sunday. They would. But look, that's been a bit presumptuous. That's getting a slight ahead of myself. Like I say, from what I understand, Spurs are still hopeful that that could be a deal that gets done. Middlesbrough are hopeful it's a deal that gets done. Spence wants it to get done, wants to come to Tottenham, from what we understand. So when you've got all three parties kind of expecting or hopeful it's going to happen, unless there's a major disaster and they really just cannot come to any agreement and another club comes in, you'd think it's a deal that will happen. But like I say, unlikely to happen before they fly off to Korea, because that is literally within 48 hours or so. But, yeah, fingers crossed. Not with my manky plaster thumb, because you don't cross your thumb. But yeah, fingers crossed. There's still a hope that will happen from all sides. So, yeah, keep an eye on Jed Spence. I found it really interesting as well. I don't know if you saw it. Anyone that uses Instagram, Ryan Sessegnon, Mr. Cryptic, left a comment. Jed Spence put a compilation video up of his last season, obviously on loan at Nottingham Forest. Had a very good season, helped them to promotion. It was like a compilation, always good moments. About 2.5 minutes. It was a good video, actually. Showed what kind of some of his assets in terms of his skill set in terms of defending and also getting forward. And Ryan Sessegnon commented underneath, 3 flame emojis, and then you know what to do now. So obviously they're both England under-21 teammates. So yeah, it's one of those things. The likelihood is he probably does mean you know what to do now, come to Tottenham. It could potentially mean you know what to do now, as in just do what you did last season and build on it. You'd think, though, with the context and the timing and everything involved, it's probably more Tottenham-based. But I wouldn't dare possibly say that is the case. So yeah, so Longley through the door before they fly off to Korea. Spence, Spurs still hopeful that will be a deal that gets done. It's all about valuation now, isn't it? Let's be honest. Middlesbrough, we've seen the figures bandied about, 20 million or more, which again, I think is very interesting when Chris Wilder was talking about that being too much for a Championship striker just a couple of weeks back, maybe a fortnight ago. And I definitely, I think he's going to be a really good player. I really like the look of Jed Spence, and I think at 21 he can only get better as well, as long as, he really commits to whoever his club is going to be next. And if it's Conte and Tottenham, then really just soaks up everything that can be on offer at Tottenham. And under Conte's tutelage, I think he could be a brilliant player. However, the only thing I would say is that's a lot of money for a guy who's, let's be honest, has had one brilliant, really good season, and it's come in the Championship. So I can understand it from the Tottenham point of view of being like, whoa, yeah, we want him, but that's a lot of money. So yeah, I get that. I do get that. But hopefully, looks like all parties want to make this happen, and hopefully it will. So that's your potential 2 coming in. Certainly one, like I say, in Longley will be done before the end of Saturday. And we are going to have one out the door as well in Steven Bergwijn.